Welcome to Brave English Podcast.
Your journey from stuttering to standing out.
Imagine this exact scenario. You're at a beautiful rooftop party. The music is perfect, the lighting is amazing, the vibe is 10-10, and you are actually having a great time. Suddenly, a native English speaker walks up to you, smiles warmly, hands you a drink, and asks a completely normal, everyday question. Hey there, what have you been up to lately? And right in that split second, your brain completely freezes. It turns into a spinning Windows loading screen. Your palms start sweating, your heart rate spikes. Internally, your mind is frantically scrolling through a massive, dusty Excel sheet of English tenses. You are calculating the present perfect continuous versus the past simple. You're trying to remember if the phrase up to is a phrasal verb that requires a gerund or an infinitive. You are mentally building a defense contract of syntax in your head. And guess what? By the time you finally figure out the formula and open your mouth to say, I have been, the person has already assumed you didn't hear them, smiled awkwardly, and walked away to the buffet to get some spring rolls. You just lost a friendship because of grammar. Stop doing math in your head. Language is not algebra. Welcome back to the Fluency Lab, the podcast where we crush your language fears. I'm Emy, your fluency coach, and today we are staging a massive nationwide intervention. We are officially declaring absolute war on grammar rules.
Hold on. Drop your weapons. Don't declare war yet, Emy. I brought heavy backup. I survived the traffic, and I brought the Holy Grail. Look at this beauty. This is the 2026 Ultimate Platinum Edition of Advanced English Syntax, Morphological Structures, and the official Oxford Grammar Guide. It's only 942 pages, leather-bound, and it has an index for irregular verbs in the back.
Emy, please look at me. Please tell me you did not just carry a literal, dictionary-sized cement anchor into my recording studio.
Emy, this is not an anchor. This is a survival guide. This book is my shield against making mistakes. Although, if I'm being completely honest with you and the listeners, it didn't really help me survive the coffee shop downstairs about 20 minutes ago.
Oh no, what happened downstairs? Don't tell me you tried to speak English again using that book.
I just wanted a breakfast sandwich, Emy. A simple, basic pesto chicken sandwich. I walked up to the counter, the barista was super nice, and I wanted to ask him a simple question to be polite. I wanted to know who made the fresh pesto aioli they use. But right before the words left my mouth, my inner grammar demon woke up. I froze. I stood there looking at him like a statue because my brain started screaming, wait, is it who made this pesto? Or should it be whom was this pesto made by? Because whom is the objective case of the relative pronoun when it functions as the object of a preposition.
Oh, Jack, my sweet, over-analytical friend, no.
I'm serious. I stood there for 3 entire minutes analyzing the structural integrity of the objective case. I was mentally drawing a tree diagram of the sentence structure. Meanwhile, the guy standing right behind me in line literally groaned out loud, rolled his eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck, bypassed me entirely, and ordered a plain bagel. The barista looked at me like I was having a medical emergency. I didn't even get my sandwich, Emy. My stomach is completely empty. I'm starving. But, proudly, at least my internal grammar was structurally flawless and syntactically pristine.
You literally starved yourself over the difference between who and whom? Jack, this is tragic. But honestly, this is exactly why we are recording this episode today. You are the perfect example of the ultimate English student trap. Look at me. Give me the book. Let go of the leather-bound anchor.
Wait, be careful with the spine, Emy. This cost me 80 euros, and it has color-coded tabs for the subjunctive mood. Shh. My syntax, my clauses, they're in the bin.
And that is exactly where they belong. Listen to me, Jack, and listen to me closely, everyone tuning in at home. Obsessing over grammar rules is actively, systematically paralyzing your English fluency. You are so busy trying to be a walking, talking, perfect textbook that you have completely forgotten how to be a normal human being. You're treating speech like a university exam instead of a connection.
But Emy, if I don't think about the rules, how am I supposed to know if I'm correct? If we just stop studying formulas, absolute chaos will ensue. There will be split infinitives everywhere. Double negatives will be running wild in the streets. Adjectives will be modifying nouns without proper sequence. It will be linguistic anarchy.
Good. Let the anarchy begin. Because out there in the real world, native speakers are not thinking about rules. They don't even know the rules you're crying about. They are just using natural language blocks. Today, Jack, we are converting you from a rigid, overthinking grammar robot into a natural, fluid, brave English speaker. No formulas, no tenses, no mercy. Are you ready to reprogram your brain?
I guess so. I mean, I don't have a choice now that my €80 book is touching a banana peel in the trash, but I still really want that sandwich.
All right, Jack. Since your stomach is currently growling at a frequency that might disrupt our studio microphones, let's sit down and diagnose your psychological condition. You are suffering from a highly contagious, deeply tragic, and mentally exhausting epidemic that I like to call the thinking in formulas disease.
Excuse me? A disease? Formulas are beautiful, Emy. They're the skeleton of the language. They're the mathematical architecture that keeps English from collapsing into primitive grunts. Without formulas, how do we build sentences?
Yeah, well, your beautiful architecture is currently causing absolute rigor mortis in your jaw. You're so busy building the house that you never actually open the front door to let anyone in. Let's do a live, real-time test right now so the listeners can hear exactly what this disease sounds like. I want you to tell me and everyone listening at home what you did yesterday after work. Simple, right? Normal conversation. Go.
Okay, easy, simple question. Yesterday, after work, well, let's see. The action happened prior to a specific point in the past, but it had an ongoing duration before it concluded, so I clearly need the, let's see, subject plus auxiliary verb had plus been plus the present participle of the root verb. Shh. Ah, what on earth was that? You nearly gave me a heart attack.
That, my dear Jack, is the official Fluency Lab Nerd Alarm, and it is programmed to trigger automatically every single time you utter an academic grammar term instead of speaking actual human English. Try again. Forget the blueprint. What did you do yesterday after work?
Okay, I'm trying. Yesterday, I had been walking. Wait, no. If the action was completely finished and didn't overlap with another past event, then it's just the past simple tense, which means I need subject plus verb ed. Shh. Stop buzzing me, Emy. I'm trying to calculate the aspect and the temporal vector of the sentence. Cut me some slack.
I'm just saying, you're doing math again, Jack. Your brain is over there drawing algebraic equations and solving for x, while the conversation train has already left the station, crossed the border, and arrived in a different country. While you were sitting there figuring out verb ed, I literally grew old, retired, bought a vineyard in Tuscany, and started making my own wine. Just tell me what you did with your life yesterday.
Frustrated. I went to the gym, okay? I went to the gym, I lifted some heavy weights, I listened to some rock music, and then I grabbed a massive chicken burrito on the way home. There.
Boom! Perfection! Was that so hard, Jack? Did you need a master's degree in mathematics to tell me about your burrito?
No, I suppose not. But it felt incredibly dangerous, Emmy. It felt like driving a sports car at 100 miles an hour down a dark highway without looking at the dashboard or the speedometer.
But that is exactly how speaking a language is supposed to feel. When you speak your native language, do you sit there and build sentences piece by piece like a complicated IKEA coffee table? Do you think to yourself, let me grab a nominative pronoun, toss in a modal auxiliary verb, sprinkle a little prepositional phrase on top, and finish it off with a beautiful adverb? No, you don't construct language from scratch every time you open your mouth. You use what cognitive linguists call language blocks.
Language chunks? Really, Emmy? That sounds absolutely disgusting. It sounds like expired milk or something you find at the bottom of a kitchen sink.
I promise you, it is much tastier and much more useful than expired milk. Language chunks, or lexical chunks if you want to be fancy, are pre-assembled, pre-packaged phrases that your brain stores as a single solid unit. Think of them like prefabricated Lego blocks that are already glued together, instead of a box of 10,000 raw plastic molecules that you have to melt down and shape yourself. For example, let's look at how textbooks teach you to make a polite request. The textbook tells you that you must use the conditional mood to create a hypothetical scenario for politeness, right? So a poor, stressed-out student sits there and mentally constructs, "I would be wondering if you could." But do you know what a fluent, natural speaker does? They don't analyze a single syllable. They just pull an entire pre-made block out of their brain's long-term memory bank. "I was wondering if you could." They don't alter it. They don't check the tense of was past. It is just one solid block. They drop it into the conversation, slap whatever they want onto the end of it, and boom, instant, effortless fluency.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you're telling me that phrases like "by the way," or "to be honest with you," or "I see what you mean but," or "at the end of the day," I don't need to break those down? I can just treat them as if they are single giant words?
Exactly. For your brain, they are single words. When you speak in chunks, your brain does zero processing work. Your cognitive load drops to almost nothing. You aren't architecting a building under pressure, you're just delivering a fully constructed package.
So, if I want to order that chicken pesto sandwich next time, I don't need to stand at the cash register calculating the objective case of the relative pronoun or wondering if whom is dead or alive.
No, you tragic nerd, you don't. You just walk up to the counter, open your mental filing cabinet, pull out the universal restaurant chunk, "Can I get a?" and then you just slap pesto sandwich right onto the end of it. "Can I get a pesto sandwich, please?" Done. Total time elapsed, 2 seconds. Total brain power used, 0. Total sandwiches acquired, 1.
Wow, I feel like my entire academic life has been a carefully constructed lie. I have spent 3 whole years mastering the nuances of the past perfect continuous tense, filling out thousands of workbook pages, and you're telling me I could have just survived, thrived, and eaten sandwiches by just memorizing "can I get a?"
Welcome to reality, Jack. We have food here. And speaking of throwing away the rulebook, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait until we get to part 3, where I show you what native English speakers actually do to the English language when their strict school teachers aren't watching.
What do they do, Emmy? What do they do to the sacred rules?
They rip them to pieces, Jack. Absolute pieces. Let's move on to the crime scene. Welcome to part 3, Jack. This is the part of the show where we completely shatter your fragile little reality. I like to call this section the grammar crimes native speakers commit daily.
Excuse me? Grammar crimes? Native speakers don't commit grammar crimes, Emmy. They are the native guardians of the linguistic realm. They are the direct descendants of William Shakespeare, Jane Austen, and Charles Dickens. They carry the sacred, flawless flame of the English language.
Oh, my sweet, innocent, naive summer child. Shakespeare has been dead for over 400 years. years. And right now, out there on the real streets of New York, London, and Sydney, native English speakers are treating your precious grammar guide like a vague, optional suggestion. They are actively, brutally violating textbooks every single time they open their mouths. Let me give you a classic example. If you walk into a room and you see 3 dogs sitting on a couch, what is the grammatically correct, textbook-approved way to state that?
Well, obviously, it would be there are 3 dogs on the couch. You must use the plural verb are because the subject, 3 dogs, is plural. Subject-verb agreement. Standard, basic, 3rd grade primary school English.
Right. That's what your €80 trash can book says. Now, do you know what roughly 90% of actual native English speakers say in casual, real-life conversation when they see those dogs?
Enlighten me, oh wise coach.
They walk in and say, "There's 3 dogs on the couch."
There's, as in there is, combining a singular verb contraction with a plural noun phrase, that is a federal offense. That is a linguistic abomination. Someone call the Oxford Police Department right now.
Calm down. Breathe into a paper bag, Jack. Don't hyperventilate on the microphone. It gets so much worse for you. Let's talk about prepositions. Your beloved textbook explicitly insists that a preposition must never, ever dangle at the end of a sentence. It states you must say, "With whom are you going to the cinema?" But let me ask you a question, Jack. If you walk into a normal sports bar or a casual university campus and you look at a regular human being and say, "With whom are you going?" do you know what will happen?
They will recognize me as a man of high culture and intellectual prestige?
No, they are going to look at you like you're wearing a literal suit of medieval iron armor and holding a sword. They'll think you're weird. Real, living, breathing humans in 2026 say, "Who are you going with?"
But the preposition with is just dangling there at the very end of the clause. It has no object. It's cold, it's naked, and it's completely alone. It violates the structural integrity of the sentence.
And yet, it is what sounds 100% natural to a native ear, Jack, because there is a massive, continent-sized difference between prescriptive grammar, which is what dusty old academics tell you you should do, and descriptive grammar, which is simply a description of how real human beings actually communicate to get things done in daily life. Textbooks are deeply obsessed with perfection. Real-life human communication is obsessed with speed, comfort, and efficiency.
So you're telling me the rules aren't even real? They're just a social construct. My whole life is a lie?
Pretty much. To prove it to you and completely cure you of this disease, I'm going to teach you 3 everyday, hyper-common phrases that completely and utterly break textbook rules but make you sound instantly like a native speaker. Crime number 1. I'm good. When you walk into a room and someone asks, "Hey, how are you doing?" what does your grammar book say you must answer?
You must say, "I am well," because well is the adverb that properly modifies the state of being.
Exactly. And if you say, "I'm good," rigid, angry grammarians will scream into their pillows because good is an adjective. But guess what? Literally everyone says "I'm good." In fact, we use it as a language chunk so much that if a waiter comes to your table and offers you more coffee and you say, "Oh, I'm good," it actually means, "No thank you, I have enough." Crime number 2. Me and my friend went. Your school teacher probably spent years drilling this into your brain. My friend and I went to the store because I is the subject pronoun. But if you listen to native speakers hanging out at a backyard barbecue, they say "me and my friend went" constantly. It rolls off the tongue significantly faster.
My ancestors are crying. My middle school English teacher is weeping in her classroom. I am losing my mind. Crime number 3, ain't no way.
This is the ultimate, glorious, rule-breaking masterpiece. It uses a non-standard contraction, ain't, combined with an immediate double negative, ain't no. Now, Jack, according to standard mathematical rules and textbook logic, 2 negatives make a positive, right?
Yes, it's basic logic. Negative times negative equals positive. So legally, ain't no way must mean there is absolutely a way.
But in real life, it just means absolutely not or there is zero chance. It's used purely for raw emotional emphasis. It is 100% descriptive conversational English.
So, all those colorful highlighters I bought, all those late nights memorizing irregular verb matrices and conditional timelines, I could have just thrown them out and just listened to how people actually talk on podcasts and YouTube?
Exactly, Jack. You don't learn a human language by analyzing its dead anatomy under a sterile microscope. You learn it by stealing it directly from the living, breathing people who use it every day. And up next, in part 4, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step method to become a master language thief using a technique called the imitation game.
Fine. If I can't have my sandwich with perfect grammar, then teach me how to be a linguistic criminal.
Welcome to part 4, Jack. Since you have officially surrendered your €80 textbook to the banana peels of destiny, you are finally ready to receive your ultimate weapon, the imitation game.
All right, Emmy, I'm ready. Is this the part of the podcast where we break into the Oxford University printing press at midnight and burn all the syntax rubrics? Because at this point, I have nothing left to lose.
I love the enthusiasm, Jack, but let's leave the arson out of this. It's actually much simpler, much more legal, and 100 times more effective. In the scientific world of language acquisition, top linguists call this technique shadowing, but I prefer the imitation game because it sounds like a spy movie. Here's the concept. Instead of sitting at your desk, opening a workbook and doing 50 boring, soul-crushing fill-in-the-blank exercises on the past perfect continuous tense, you do something radical. You put on headphones, you play audio of a native speaker, and you mimic them exactly like a real-time echo. You copy their voice, their rhythm, and their breathing.
An echo? Like a parrot?
Emmy, come on. I am an intellectual. I have a master's degree in overthinking things. You want me to just sit here and blindly repeat words like a tropical bird in a pet shop?
Yes, Jack, absolutely yes. Because guess what? Tropical birds don't have heavy, awkward foreign accents, and they don't freeze up and stutter over relative pronouns at a sandwich shop. Look, here is the secret science of why this works. When you shadow a native speaker, you aren't just copying individual vocabulary words, you are literally stealing their intonation, their rhythm, their connected speech, and their overall vibe. You are physically training your vocal cords and mouth muscles to produce the natural, fluid wave of English before your analytical, math-obsessed brain has a split second to step in and ruin the moment with a formula.
Okay, it sounds nice in theory, but how does it actually work in practice? Let me look at the script. Let me analyze the phonetic symbols and underline the stressed syllables with my red pen.
No script. Absolutely no reading aloud. Reading is a trap, Jack. The moment your eyes see printed English letters on a page, your inner grammar demon wakes up, grabs its clipboard, and starts trying to analyze the tenses. This is purely an auditory game. Put down the pen, close your eyes. Just listen to the sound of my voice and copy the exact pacing, the emotional tone, and the micro pauses. Let's start with a classic, ultra-common, cool guy conversational line. I'll say it first, so just listen to the flow. Tell you what, I'm gonna head out, grab some food, and I'll catch you later. Notice the hidden language chunks in there? Tell you what, head out and catch you later. Now, Jack, give me your best imitation. Go!
Tell you what, I am going to head out, grab some food, and I will catch you later.
Oh my god. Okay, the drama level was a 10 out of 10, but the fluency? Flawless. The connection? Absolute perfection. Now, let me ask you a question, action hero. While you were delivering that line, did you think of a single tense? Were you calculating the future modal vectors?
Wait, you're right. I didn't calculate anything. My brain didn't look at a single chart. I just caught the rhythm and rode the wave of the sound.
Exactly, because that is how human language is actually acquired. That is how native children learn. They don't study complex grammar matrices at 3 years old. They listen to their parents, they copy the sound, they mess it up, they adjust the vibration, and eventually the chunks stick permanently.
Wow, it's actually incredibly liberating, Emmy. For a second there, I didn't feel like a stressed out ESL student. I felt like a cool guy who actually goes outside and successfully acquires breakfast sandwiches.
Well, enjoy that cool guy feeling while it lasts, superstar, because the training wheels are officially being ripped off the bicycle. It is time for the ultimate final test. Up next, the No Grammar Brave Challenge. If your brain stops to do math even once, you lose everything.
Bring it on, coach. I'm ready.
All right, Jack, welcome to the final arena, the ultimate proving ground, the No Grammar Brave Challenge. The rules of this engagement are absolutely brutal and unforgiving. I am putting exactly 30 seconds on the studio countdown timer. Your objective? Tell our listeners all about your upcoming weekend plans.
Oh, please. 30 seconds? That's a walk in the park.
Let me finish the rules before you get overconfident, Mr. Action Hero. If your brain pauses for more than 2 consecutive seconds to think, buzz, you lose. If you utter a single academic grammar formula or textbook term out loud, booze, you lose. If you hesitate or stutter because you're frantically trying to calculate a verb tense, booze, you lose. You fail the challenge, and I get to permanently keep your 900-page leather-bound grammar encyclopedia inside that trash can next to the banana peel forever.
Not the holy grail of syntax. You wouldn't dare.
30 seconds on the digital clock. No rules, no formulas, no safety net. Just raw, unfiltered, high-speed human communication. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, this weekend I'm gonna... Wait, is a weekend plan considered a definite future arrangement requiring the present continuous? Or should I use be going to for an intention? No, stop. Chunks, Jack. Think in chunks.
5 seconds down. The clock is ticking, Jack. Speak.
Fine. Screw the textbook, forget the rules. This weekend, I'm staying in, closing all my blinds, locking my front door, and booting up my white PlayStation 5 because the massive new game expansion finally drops at midnight. I'm gonna pull an absolute all-nighter with my online squad. We've been planning this specific raid for literally months now, and if my team's healer flakes on me at the last second again, I'm gonna absolutely lose my mind. Tell you what, I already went out and bought snacks, I got a whole 12-pack of energy drinks, and absolutely no one is allowed to call me, text me, or even look in my direction until Monday morning comes around.
Stop! Time is up.
Did I survive? Did I pass the test? Emmy, look at me. Is my syntax still intact?
Jack, you didn't just pass the test, you completely, utterly crushed it. You just spoke for 30 seconds straight at 100% native-level conversational speed. There were 0 awkward stutters, 0 robotic pauses, and absolutely, positively 0 mathematical calculations happening in your head.
Wait a minute, you're entirely right. I didn't think about a single grammar chart. I didn't even check if until Monday was a proper prepositional time constraint or if I violated a passive voice structure. I just let the words fly out of my mouth.
And because you let them fly, you sounded completely beautifully natural. You naturally dropped in "I'm gonna," you effortlessly used the chunk "tell you what," and you connected your thoughts seamlessly like a real human being. See? The English language is already living inside your head, Jack. You just have to stop letting your inner grammar nerd act as a strict, angry bouncer at the door of your mouth.
Wow, I feel lighter, Emy. I feel incredibly liberated. I think I'm finally ready to go back down to that coffee shop, look that barista in the eye, and successfully conquer that chicken pesto sandwich.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. Mission accomplished. To everyone tuning in at home, take a giant page out of Jack's book. Well, actually, don't take a page out of his book because it is currently covered in coffee grounds at the bottom of our studio trash bin. But absolutely take his advice. Stop trying to speak perfect textbook English. Perfection is a total myth that keeps you silent and paralyzed. Don't be perfect, be brave. Before you close out of this episode, we have a very special interactive Fluency Lab challenge for you in the comment section below.
That's right. We want you to drop one single English phrase or language chunk that you have completely memorized and use in your daily life without having any absolute clue what the underlying grammar rules or tenses are. Just pure, raw, beautiful imitation.
Let us know your favorite chunks in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode.
Catch you later, everyone.
Bye!